everybody. I'm hoping that with this angle you'll be able to see how I'm doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and do the lines on the doll. As you know, it's a whole lot of drawing squiggly lines and then dabbing them with a damp paintbrush. So I'm going to show you the first part, and then I'm probably going to stop recording and continue on and finish it, and then come back once I got it done, because this is a big pain in the tushy. Can you see how I'm doing this? I hope you can. It's just watercolor pencils, and I am making lines like that on the doll. I'm trying not to touch the lines of the same color. The doll has been cleaned. I used 2 coats of Liquitex matte medium. I love Liquitex matte medium. It's awesome. I could not get the doll completely cleaned. Like, there's still like glue and gunk on her head. Man, I think they used super glue to glue that wig down. Could not get that stuff off. It fought me, and at one point I was just like, you know what, to hell with it. It ain't worth it. I'll work around it. We're going to be putting a wig back on her anyway. And even if for some reason we decide we don't want a wig, I'll put clay over that part. I don't care. I ain't fighting that hard to get this done. Because, you know, who's got time for that? Who wants to go through that kind of fussing just to get glue off? I went through my drill bit and had to keep stopping because it was getting gummed up with glue. And holy crap, I was getting frustrated. About ready to throw the whole thing. So I'm going to do this. Now, normally what I would have done would be to paint the whole doll white. Because I'm thinking, you know, it's a clown doll. She'll get painted white. And we'll go from there and, you know, paint clown face on and all that. But no, in my head, clowns are not white head to toe. They usually wear white gloves, maybe, big floppy shoes. But they have human skin. So I'm thinking we're going to do the squiggly line method of veining. This adds veining and more of a natural skin look. And then when that's done, I will dab it with the damp brush, work it all in. Now with the blue, I try to keep the lines a little closer together than I did with the red, because what happens is when I go to dab it with the brush, if I have more blue than red, I will have a bluish, kind of like deadly looking skin. And I want that. I always want the deadly looking skin. And I might even add a little bit of green to this. Because you remember, she's dead. She's going to be holding her heart out of her ripped open chest. So, for some reason, on the back of my neck, well, on the back of the doll's neck, not my neck, the matte medium is not sticking very well. It might be because of whatever they used to cement that darn wig on was causing issues, but I cleaned it and soaked it. I even tried to soak the glue off with 91% isopropyl alcohol, which is what you should use to clean the dolls before you start working on them. That gets off of everything. It can't even pull off some of the paint. I mean, don't ever use 91% isopropyl alcohol on a doll you want to keep as it is, because like I said, it can strip the paint right off. But it's good at getting the dirt and stuff off. If all you're doing is cleaning porcelain, that's a good way to clean it. Don't do it, take my word, don't do it if you have sores on your hands, cuts on your hand, a hangnail. That isopropyl alcohol will let you know right quick and in a hurry that you have a big boo-boo. And you'll be cussing like an angry sailor. Trust me. Ask me how I know. But, you know, all's well that ends well. I survived. Now, I'm doing this on her porcelain. I'm still going to be painting her face. And I'm still doing this even where I know I'm going to be painting the face. It's just a habit. I cover everything because just in case my ideas sometimes are kind of fluid. They can change at the drop of a hat on a whim. As a matter of fact, before I even started the video, I have a brain that I used excess clay on. Every time I had a little bit of extra clay, I molded a brain. And I thought, how good would it look to have her brain sticking up out the top of her head? I mean, I could do that. It's the right size. If you guys decide that that's something you'd like to see, is her skull cracked open and her brain sticking out, shoot me a comment. We can accommodate that because I already have the brain done. That's awesome. It's always nice when stuff like that happens. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing this. And I will be back. Okay, we're back. All right, I did the head and the hands, and I'm going to show you how I do the legs. And I wanted to make an important point. The more you can let the color build up on your old brush, and you can see I am using one of the crappiest brushes I own. Because this is not kind to brushes. So get the crappiest brush you can. Anyway, the more you can let the color build up on the brush, the better. It's going to give you a better texture overall. If you've ever had the opportunity to, it's a little macabre, I know, but if you've ever had the opportunity to see an actual deceased person, their skin goes mottly. And you know when you get really, really cold, especially if you're fair-skinned, and you get those little red, like, diamond shapes all over your skin because you're so cold? I'm looking to see if I have, because there's no heat in this room and I'm freezing. But it looks like that, only more pronounced and more of a blue color. So there's still some pink in the body even after it's dead. It takes a little while for it to kind of drain. And incidentally, whichever position the person is in when they die, the blood is going to pool, as gravity does, it's going to pull the blood towards the ground. So in the body, if they're laying on their back, all of the blood is going to pool in their back and in the backs of their legs and, you know, areas like that. So if the person is laying down after they've passed and it's been an hour, 2 hours or whatever, I might be wrong on the times. If I'm remembering correctly, it was about 2 hours. Then you roll that person over and their whole back end, the whole backside is going to look like bruised. That's just how it is. It's not, you know, morbid or disgusting or anything like that. But this gives a good representation of what the modeling looks like shortly after death. So that's what I'm doing. You're still going to see the pencil lines that I put on there, the watercolor pencil lines. You're still going to see those lines. That's why I said try to be careful. But I mean, I scribbled the crap out of these legs because I was trying to hurry to get back to the video, and they're fine. I mean, they're just fine. And I'm just tipping. See? I'm dipping the tip of my brush into some water to moisten it. And then I'm going right back. I'm dabbing it off on my paper towel and I'm going right back in. Now I used these two colors of pencil. There's like a burgundy and a navy blue. And they're creating, when they mix, obviously, burgundy and blue, they're giving me like a purple color, which is fine. I mean, I'm okay with that. Like I said, I still might go in and add a touch of green. I might do that with my airbrush. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I think I might just leave it as is depending on how this dries. Because see, now this side's not dry, neither is this side. I have to be extremely careful when I go to do the back side. Because if I go to do this back side while that's wet and I touch it, I'm just going to wipe off what I just did. And I don't want to have to redo all of that because this is tedious work. I have arthritis in my hands, and doing the little squiggly lines with that pencil kills my hands. But, you know, it doesn't take forever. It just a few minutes and then you're done, depending on how big the doll is. I have a 36-inch doll that took me a good couple hours to completely cover. This doll is about 18 inches tall. Most of my dolls are in the 18-inch range. Occasionally I'll get a really good one. I mean, I know some doll artists that will go on eBay and buy the big, really expensive, really pretty dolls off of eBay and work on those. And I would love to do one of those dolls. However, while my prices are not cheap, I am trying to keep them down as much as I can. And if I were to spend already $80 on the doll and then put all of the time and effort that I put into it, and I do put quite a bit of time and effort into these dolls. It's not just I slap a coat of paint on them and call them done. I put time, I put creativity, I put effort, I put money into it. These supplies are not cheap either. A set of these watercolor pencils can run you 25 to 40 to on up. So, you know, they do last you forever though. So if you buy them for this, you're not going to have to buy them again for a very, very long time. The epoxy sculpt is not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest clay either. I mean, air dry clay is the very cheapest, and you could get by with that. Absolutely, you could get by with that. My fear with using the air dry clay instead of the epoxy sculpt, is when I have to ship it long distances. I had a gal in France buy some of my dolls, and if I had to ship those dolls to France, I would worry that the air dry clay might not be strong enough to handle getting jostled around on that long of a trip. If I were going to be doing a convention and I know that I'm going to package these dolls for someone to take immediately home, I might not worry so much about how strong the clay is. You know, it's all in what you're doing. Plus there's sometimes, like if I'm doing, when I did Krampus, I made his tail out of the epoxy sculpt because I needed that tail to be strong and had to hold its own weight. And unless I were to do a wire apparatus underneath it, you know, I'm brain farting, you guys. I cannot remember what it's called. It'll come to me in 15 minutes and I'll shout it out and be like, oh, that's what that is. But if I were to do that, then my train just completely jumped track. If I were to put the wire in the tail anyway, I could use the less expensive air dry clay. However, the whole doll was not made of wire, and it would have been more difficult for me to hide that wire. You know, so it's kind of a give and take. It really is. The whole thing is a give and take. I'm going back in where I had already done the head, and I'm pouncing in a little bit of the extra color that I have on my brush, just because it doesn't hurt. You know, I have the color on the brush is still damp, why not? After I do this, I will have to wait for it to dry, and I will have to seal it, because these are water-based pencils, and if I don't seal it, anything I put over top of these is going to wipe off the pencil. And I don't want that. I just spent all this time fixing it. I don't want to wipe it off. You know, makes sense, right? So there we have, I'm going to try to get a close up. Can you see the mottled look of the skin? That makes it look so much more human than just porcelain. Once I get into doing the details, I might add more veins with the blue pencil. I might add a green layer. I might even just use acrylic paint. I might just say to heck with it, I'm going to use acrylic paint because that's just what I have out on right now. You can absolutely use acrylic paint for the whole thing. Just thin it out really well with water and go lightly. Just go very, very lightly. You might want to take a crappy brush like this, dab your acrylic paint on, rinse your brush, dab some off, because you want the skin to show through some. You don't want full coverage on this. You want to be able to see the lines, because the lines look like veins. And short of pulling out the airbrush and making 100 million little circles all over, this is the easiest way I have ever found to make veins on the skin. It works, and it works surprisingly well. It's on camera, it's not that impressive, but when you look at my dolls in person, their skin looks like you can reach out and touch it and it will feel like skin. Yes, I am tooting my own horn. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because somebody's got to do it, you know. But that's where we're at with that. I have to blow my nose apparently. That's what I was thinking. Jeez. And seriously, this is all the water that I used. That's it. I emptied a Dawn dish soap bottle. I'm just going to dump that in my garbage because I have paper towels in the garbage as usual. Anyway, I emptied a Dawn dish soap bottle and I cleaned it out really well. And I just put plain water in it so I don't have to keep running back and forth to the sink. There's times when I know I'm going to be doing a lot of painting and I will fill my paint bucket up. But if I'm not going to be doing a heavy load of painting, I'm not going to waste all that water to fill that up. So that's where we're at with that. The outfit I'm really pleased with. I mean, it's very stiff. It's real stiff. But what do you think? I think it looks good for a clown outfit. I made a holy hell of a mess, and I missed a spot, but I figured we'll hit that with blood or something. No big deal. I am not going to rinse this because I don't know if any of these inks will run. Usually they're permanent inks when you put them on. But my worry is that I'm going to rinse this underwater and they're going to run together and make an ugly mess. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is. I like the look of it. And as a bonus, where did they go? Where did they go? Seriously, where did they go? I've lost her socks. Oh, there they are. They were stuck, and when I moved the thing, they fell off. As a bonus, her socks got dyed because I had them sitting on my desk, and I did all of that on this. I have this non-stick heat-proof fabric. It's not fabric. What the hell is it? It's like a pressing sheet. But anyway, I did it on here, and I made a mess. A mess. But I got the socks done too. That's pretty good. Yeah. So that's where we're at with her. I kind of hoped that we would be a little further tonight, that I would be able to do a little more, but I didn't count on the fact I forgot that I had to seal her after the watercolor pencils. There's really nothing I could do until I seal her. I have to spray the sealer on. And I either A, have to wait until my husband goes to work because all I'll hear is, why'd you spray that in the house? I could smell it all the way over here. He's got sensitive sinuses. Or B, until I can go outside and it's freezing cold here. I mentioned I'm in Michigan, so it is freezing cold here. You're not supposed to spray that above or below, I don't know, like 50 degrees. I'm in Michigan. That's half the year for me. So I spray a lot in the house when my husband's at work. But aside from that, I think these eyes are going to look pretty wicked cool. Really, really cool. Well. And it's a whole new day. I didn't even like film this last night and say, you know, oh, it's a new day. No, it really is a new day. And I'm still dropping shit. Anyway. Don't she look creepy? I mean, just right now she looks creepy. I love her. So, anyway. I might sculpt that heart and not film it only because I am so slow at sculpting. If you want to see how to sculpt a human heart, there are plentiful videos on YouTube on how to sculpt a human heart that are much better than I am. I mean, I think I'm an awesome doll artist, but I'm not by any means a sculptor. I can get away with stuff, but I mean, you know, it's going to take me forever. And I get frustrated and I start cussing. So I'm just going to leave that be. And I'm going to do that without you guys watching. I mean, when I cut the hole in the chest, I will do that on video because she is wrapped really tight. She's really stuffed tightly. So when I'm going to make an incision in her chest, and I'm going to fill that incision after I take some of the stuffing out. I'm going to fill that incision with clay so that it kind of builds a wall around the stuffing to keep everything in. So that when she's holding her heart, you see the hole in her chest. Because you'd want to see that. I would. I'd be like, well, she's holding her heart. Where'd it come from? If there's no hole, where'd it come from? That's not her heart. There's no hole. Right? I mean, am I wrong? Let me know in the comments, because if you want the brain showing, we can do that and then only do like a half wig. I mean, I don't know why her brain would be showing. You know, she's giving somebody her heart, not her brain. We could maybe make her brain show, and then we can say something in the story about he loved her for her brains, so she gave him her heart. Something like that. You know, I can bend and twist a little to make it work. The gorier the better. You know how you've seen some of my stuff, and if you haven't, go take a look. I'm open to a lot. So come back tomorrow. I will have more. We're going to cut the hole tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have that heart done so that I can show you the heart. And we'll go from there. I think that's a good end for tonight. She's got that coat on, and I have to spray her down, and can't do that till tomorrow. I'm stuck. Wish I could just put matte medium on her and be done, but it smushes it around too much. So, and even still, even if I put the matte medium on her, I would have to wait for that to dry too. So we're stuck. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do right now, which stinks, but it is what it is. I enjoyed spending a little while with you, if nothing else. Thank you for joining me. Let me do that. Hey! Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Come back tomorrow, and we will cut a hole in her chest. And, excuse my itchy nose. I must be getting company. We'll cut a hole in her chest. I'll build the wall to hold the stuffing. We will figure out face paint because I'm thinking it's just going to be a typical clown paint. What's going to make her gory is the heart in her hand and the hole in her chest. I think it'll make it even more creepy because she has typical regular happy clown paint on. You know what I mean? If you disagree, leave me a comment. Please click like. Please click subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Check me out on Instagram or Facebook. Give me a shout out. Let me know how you're doing. Give me your thoughts, ideas for future dolls. Anything that you'd like to talk about, we'll talk about. We'll talk philosophy if you want. I won't talk politics. I ain't doing politics. But we could talk philosophy. We could talk horror shows. We can talk paint. we could chat. Just hit me up. Remember, click subscribe, please. Click like. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. I had fun, and I hope you did too. Bye-bye.